Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Camry. This is my 6-month-old little boy. His name is Beck. I just wanted to share my birth story and my experience of being a teen mom. November 1st, I had lost what I didn't know at the time was my mucus plug. Obviously, when you've never been pregnant before, you're young, you don't know anything that's happening to your body just yet, and so I never really thought about it. I was having more contractions, but they were inconsistent, and so I just assumed that maybe they were Braxton Hicks, and so I just drank my water, stayed laying down. I did kick counts basically every hour, and then I wasn't really bothered. I slept through them perfectly fine. So the next morning on November 2nd, I was having more contractions and they felt awful. I was having a lot of pressure and pain in my back, but I figured they were some sort of contractions, but I wasn't really stressed that it was time. I just stayed in bed, drank my water, kick counts. I took some hot relaxing showers. Later that night they started getting a lot worse, and so around 11:30 I called my hospital in the town that I used to live and asked them if I should come up and get looked at, and they said, where I was only 34 weeks pregnant, that if I was in labor they would have to send me down to this bigger hospital where they have a NICU and everything. So I just decided to talk about it with my husband, and the contractions finally started to slow down, and so I was able to fall asleep. And so I slept through the whole night. Like I don't even think I woke up to pee until the next morning. About 7:30 I woke up, went to the bathroom, and I had just got done washing my hands and I felt what I thought was my water breaking, and so I woke my husband up. We got dressed, we went to the hospital. By that point I'm feeling really guilty because I wasn't having any contractions. I thought I just woke my husband up for no reason at all. And so we get in there and they check me, and my nurse says, "You are 8.5 centimeters dilated. Like, you are having a baby soon." And so she calls the doctor, and the doctor comes in, he checks me and he confirms it. So we get back into the delivery room, and there's so many people in there. They're running around getting stuff ready. There's NICU nurses in there getting stuff ready because, like I said, he was only 34 weeks. At that point he would have to go into the NICU. When she checked me, she said she could feel the squish of the sac and she could like feel his head and whatever. So they knew they had a little bit of time, and so I was able to get my epidural, thank goodness. About 1:45 my nurse comes in again and she checks me and she says that I was dilated to a 10. So she says, "You get ready to have a baby. We're having a baby within like the next hour or two." Hearing those words was possibly the best thing I've ever heard. But so she comes back in at about 2 o'clock and she says, "Okay, we're gonna start some practice pushes, see where you're at." And after like 2 pushes, she's like, "Okay, please stop, the baby's coming." My doctor came in at about 2:05 to start pushing, and after about 6 rounds of pushes they noticed that his heart rate was slowing down a lot with every contraction, and so he asked me about forceps and advised me that I should probably do it. It'll help my baby out, everything will be fine. So I gave him permission, so he got the forceps ready, and then with the next contraction I pushed, he had the forceps, and out he came. So then he was born at 2:14 p.m. on November 3rd. He weighed 5 pounds 15 ounces and was 19.5 inches.
1 is in. 2 is in.
So after he was born, they set him on my belly and cleaned him off, cut the cord. I'm holding him for the first time. Breastfeeding, he's doing amazing. And then they say that they need to take him. And so they put him in an incubator and then they take him to the NICU. My husband follows. After they took Beck, they got everything cleaned up. They turned off my epidural and were getting ready to move me into the recovery room. But when my epidural shut off and I was able to start feeling my legs again, I had this really sharp pain in my back and they were really concerned about it. Then they turned my epidural back on, which helped for about a minute or two, and then I could still feel it and it was hurting really bad. So they took me down to get a CT and the CT was inconclusive, so they couldn't find anything that was wrong. So they took me back up to my room and decided to do an ultrasound. And they didn't find anything on the ultrasound either. My doctor decided to look back inside, and when he was looking, he found a tear on my uterus that had still been bleeding. So thank you. Oh. So he found a tear on my uterus, so he stitched that up real quick, and then after that they turned off the epidural again and we got ready to move into my room. So they got me moved, we got settled. By then my whole family had left. My husband was still down in the NICU with him, was sending me tons of pictures, but I wasn't allowed to go see him because I couldn't walk because I was still slightly numb. The next morning I called my husband to come get me because he'd slept down in that room with Beck, and so he comes up probably about 6 after my nurse comes and does another checkup and presses on my belly and gets my uterus to contract. He got discharged on the 7th, which was only like 4 days. All the nurses were really surprised. The doctor was surprised. Like, they said he was just a superstar, that they had never seen a baby leave the NICU that soon after being so premature. So we were really grateful to come home and have lots of family time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, whatever you want, I guess. Bye guys.